right, well, this is the Farmall Cub 1948, and as you recall, I totally rebuilt this tractor from the ground up. It's got new tires, new bearings, all around. It's got new rings, new valves, valve guides. I seated the valves myself. It's got a new head. As you recall, when we tried to start this thing before, after you put it back together, the head was leaking a lot of water down into the cylinder. I never could determine what the problem was with the head, but I went ahead and bought another head because the water was coming from really high on the head. So I figured there was a crack that I just couldn't find. And I spent a lot of time looking for cracks because I knew I had some sort of a water problem when I took this tractor apart. Anyway, last spring I finished painting it, putting it together. I discovered the water problem, put everything on ice, got a new head gasket, and I used the copper spray on both sides of the head gasket. I also put some sealer on all of the head bolts. Someone recommended I try that, and that worked great. I don't have any leaks. The head's in great shape now, and that is no longer a problem. But I never could get the thing started. It would never even fire. And so I thought, well, I've really messed up. There's a couple of gears on the front of the engine that have notches in them that have to match up perfectly, dimples. And I thought maybe I messed those up. Maybe the timing's all messed up. So the tractor's been sitting for almost a year now with me dithering over, should I tear it apart again? I had almost no compression in any of the cylinders. So I was at a tractor show and I was talking to a friend of mine who has one of these, and he said, you know, you ought to pull that thing behind your truck and just let the engine get some RPMs going, and I'll bet you it'll start. So earlier this week, I had my wife Peggy pull me around the driveway with this strapped to the truck, and lo and behold, the thing fired and started running. Actually ran pretty well. It didn't seem to have much power, but it ran. And as the more it ran, the better it got. And now it starts as easy as it's ever started since I've had this tractor for 15 years. It's always been a bear to start, and it just starts right up now. You just got to choke it and it starts. So all the problems seemingly have been fixed with this tractor, and I'm now up and running. I've been running all this week. Let me start it for you. It starts pretty easily. And I didn't even have to choke it. It just started right up. So it seems to miss a little bit. Not sure what that is, but it runs really well. So I'm very excited to have this tractor up and running. A few things, I can't get the generator to work, so the ammeter shows 0, and I haven't got the light system to work yet. This tractor, for some reason, has a 4-position switch, and most of the manuals and stuff talk about a 3-position switch. In fact, even the decal shows 3 positions: off, high, and low. Anyway, I also had hydraulic system failure early on. Just as I was trying to start it and cranking it, I had hydraulic fluid all over the place, and I went back in, took everything off, and found that there were some bolts that I didn't have tightened on the hydraulic block. So I fixed that, refilled it. It doesn't leak a drop hydraulically, and it seems to be fine. Everything on the hydraulic system is tight. Radiator just has water in it right now. I'll be putting antifreeze in there, of course. and it doesn't leak. Nothing leaks. I get a little bit of gas leak out of the carburetor, but that's when I choke it a lot, so I'm not worried about that. And then there's a few screws here and there that I haven't painted, and I'm not going to worry about them too much. You know, I've decided that I didn't want it to look like a Ferrari. It needs to look like an old tractor. So my paint job, I'm going to just be satisfied with it. I thought about redoing the hood because it's not blobby, it's just not real smooth. It's kind of spattered looking. But I just don't care anymore about the hood. I'm just going to use the paint the way it's on there and go for it. I mean, there's already scratches on it just from putting it back together. I'm not even going to go touch those up. I'm just going to put the decals on, and I'll over time work on the electronic system and see why my generator's not working. I just assume it's not hooked up quite right. And I put new oil in it today or yesterday. It's got new tires, and everything else just seems to work. There's a few kind of noises and stuff. I assume that's the clutch working itself in. It's got a new clutch plate, and I'm just not going to worry too much about that. So that's the Farmall Cub. I'm excited to have it up and running, and thanks for hanging in there. This has been forever. This tractor actually hasn't been usable for about 4 years, and so I set out about 3 years ago to rebuild it, and there's 20 or so videos on the channel for going through each piece of that, and then this is sort of the final one, just to let everybody know that I finally got this thing going. And it all had to do with my friend telling me to pull it behind a truck, and it worked. And I think the problem was that the new engine, basically, with all the new bearings and rings and valves and all that, just and the fact that I hadn't run the tractor since then, I just didn't have any compression, and I just couldn't turn the engine over fast enough with the starter to create any kind of situation where the thing would compress gas and actually fire off. So it just never fired until I got the engine up some RPMs, and then it starts on its own perfectly now. I checked the compression in all the cylinders, and I checked this when I put it back together, and with the starter I could only get maybe 5, 10, some of them are 0. And so I assumed that that was part of my problem, and I assumed also that was rings and valves that weren't done properly. But since we've got it running, I've checked the compression, and it's in the 40 to 50 range in all the cylinders. It's just within 5 pounds in any one cylinder of the other cylinders. So it looks a lot better than when before I did it. I think that compression should probably be higher, and I expect that I need to reseat the valves at some point. But I think I'm going to leave it as it is right now, and just drive it, and I'll probably take it to the Oregon Steam Up in July and August and put it on display. Anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks for all the comments, and for keeping after me to say what's going on with the Cub. Well, here it is. And you've seen it run, it starts, and I've been driving it today. Just trying to get some hours on the engine to make sure everything's going to be in good shape. So thanks for hanging in there. Talk to you next time. Bye.